A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon keep, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue Knight I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The dungeon labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
An empty plastic bottle would give you 50 cents. A soda can, 60 cents. A used food container, 80. Wondering why I know this? Because that's my job. I am a trash picker at my school.
Harry, the trash prince is on a roll today. And how is your trashy affair with Bella coming? She lets you kiss her with that stink?
Their words don't bother me. They don't know why I do what I do. And my secret. I edge close to my class when I hear Bella and her friend talking.
You can't be serious, Bella. You want me to break up with him for you?
I would do it myself if his poverty didn't give me the creeps.
You are unbelievable.
I come face to face with Bella's friend. She knew I heard the conversation and couldn't meet my eyes. She hands me the new phone I bought for Bella and walks away. I saved for months to buy her this phone. I walk down the empty corridor with a heavy heart, pick the phone out of the box, slip my SIM in, and switch it on. When... Harry Parker, you have passed the poverty test? You are now the heir to Parker family's billions worth of assets?
If Harry is a billionaire, why does he work as a trash picker? What is his big secret? Why did he not reveal his billionaire status to Bella? To know more, listen to the audio series Destiny Reloaded, only on Pocket FM.
Presentation. Welcome back to Turn 200's coverage of the Mission R Challenge Top Split Strength of Field. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you wherever you are in the world. We appreciate you hanging out with us here on Turn 200. It's Tommy Cook, it's Matt Williamson. We're back together after a couple of weeks of playing electric car tag. We're finally back in the booth, getting ready to call a race from one of the better races that we had a couple of seasons ago here at the World Center of Racing, Daytona International. And it's the full road course this time. We're not doing the Moto. It's the real McCoy this time around. Matt, are we excited to get some high-banked drafting going on here with the Mission R?
Yeah, really excited. This is a fun racetrack, especially for the Mission R Challenge. Obviously, we talk a lot about the drafting power of this car, and it makes the racing very close together, everybody. I mean, as long as you're able to at least stay within a half a second, maybe 3/4 of a second to your competitor, you can pretty much stick with them for the entire race, as long as you can stick with them through that road course section. So good stuff coming our way, and like you said, one season ago, this was one of the greatest races of the season.
Just like here with the oval track, the draft is the great equalizer for the Mission R Challenge here. Once you get out onto the actual oval part of this 3.56-mile 11-turn circuit. Got about 2 minutes left in qualifying here. Matt, why don't we take a look at the points as they stand entering today's top split strength of field on Sunday.
Yeah, so last week's Sunday winner, J.J. Wang, sits atop the points with 464 points. Ellis Spice still sitting there in second, although a little bit farther behind, 80 points behind J.J. Wang. Hank-Jan Steneker, Javier Mascara, and Sean Begley in third, fourth, and fifth. And then not too far behind that, that battle for the top five is very heated up right now. AJ Culley, Indica Scarlett, Pierce Berry, Casey Knight, all of them within just about 14 to 20 points within Sean Begley, and then Rebecca Davin rounding out the top 10 there. Still some pretty notable names not with us here today, but one of them is in the chat with us. Olivia Hayward hanging out in the chat with us, not on the racetrack tonight.
So we will definitely miss Olivia out on the track, but appreciate Olivia hanging out with us here today. Appreciate anybody else that's spending your afternoon or evening with us here in the land of Turn 200. It's a doubleheader again today. Every even number week here this season for the Mission R Challenge, we will have a Mission O counterpart, and that it's pretty easy today. We'll be running at the Daytona Oval right after this, top of the hour. On the next hour, we will be live with Mission O coverage, and yeah, it's I don't know. It doesn't seem like a whole lot of people watched the Monza race. I know there were a lot of people that were in it. The Monza race was wild. The spoilers for a video that'll be dropping tomorrow. Mission O from Monza made the Turn 10 for the month of March. It was a pretty significant event. So we're hoping to keep that same energy quite literally here tonight for the event at Daytona for the second ever Mission O Challenge race. But that is later to come. We've got 20 drivers that are ready to get after it here for 20 minutes at the Daytona road course. Under the lights here in Florida, and it's J.J. Wang. No surprise. He won here last time a couple of seasons ago. He's got the top spot. He is the two-time defending series champion and the points leader. Hank-Jan Steneker, third in the points entering today. He's lining up on the outside of the front row. Jonathan Oshalim, the only other driver not named J.J. Wang to win a race here on Sunday afternoon this season. He will line up at third. Tom Walsh has had some good runs of late. He will line up on the outside of the front row, or the outside of row number 2, excuse me. Ellis Spice second on the points, fifth on the starting grid. Indica Scarlett in the top 10 in points as well as Casey Knight. That's fifth, sixth, seventh. Alexander Cattermole, always one to watch. He's in eighth. Sean Begley high in the points as well. He's ninth. Laura A. Hill in P10. Adrian Johansson. Marlon Orlando was back in 12th place. Rebecca David and Georgie Trepsick on row number 7. It's Jackson Couts and Robert Mitchell on row number 8. Rebecca Light and Rob Yost Jr. on row number 9, and Tyler Lugo Vickery and Andreas Weiss on row number 10. Those are the 20 drivers that will get after it here today in Daytona. Got a few seconds here. Matt, what are the track conditions we're looking at today at Daytona?
Obviously, it's nighttime under the lights. Always special here around Daytona. 76 degrees is our track temperature, which should help the drivers be able to keep the tires underneath of them, not get them too hot. That is always the issue with these cars, and we are just about to go green.
Field is going to barrel into the infield here. Turn number 1, standing start on the high banks. We are underway here for the Mission R Challenge at Daytona. Already bump drafted. Oshalim receives a shot and will slot into line in third. Side by side behind him for fourth as Wang leads the way. Check up there for Steneker. Stacks up Oshalim and he'll drop back to fourth. That's Tom Wallich into the podium positions now.
Whoa, huge dive there from Oshalim.
Oshalim going for it here, hugging the barriers, or excuse me, hugging the curbing there on the inside of the International Horseshoe. But it'll still be Wallich with the position here. Into the bend. Oh, that's an off track there for Steneker. Loses a ton of time, but will still hang on to second. Nose to tail from J.J. Wang on back. And here we go.
Yeah, this final corner onto the oval, always a little bit tricky, and then obviously they're going to get up to speed and then have the slowdown there for the bus stop. Who's going to be able to make a move?
Problems for Rebecca Late. She has gone around on the transition. Now here comes Tom Wallich with a huge run on Hank-Jan Steneker. Steneker throwing a block here into the bus stop. Steneker will hang on to the spot above, though. A little bit of contact registered.
Wallich sending the energy up the train, even through the bus stop. That was pretty incredible.
Figured we'd save the bump drafting for the Mission O race later, but maybe not. JJ Wang with I guess, somewhat of a comfortable lead here. It's still under a second. The draft's still going to work here. And we are bump drafting here. Really trying to keep with the race leader.
Wallach looking to the outside for second now.
It worked. They cut that gap in half.
Contact!
There's a shot. Spinning behind. Sean Begley's gone around into turn 1.
Oshlem able to take that spot from Wallach after the contact. I think Wallach was going to try to maybe cross over Steneker, but Steneker protected the inside, and when Wallach tried to turn to the inside, he was there. Wallach now a huge dive down to the inside of Oshlem.
That was an inch from disaster. Oshlem fighting back here. He'll have the positioning for the transition out of the infield and onto the oval, and he'll take full advantage of that. All this while JJ Wang is pulled out to over a 1.3 second lead now. Draft is a lot weaker from that far out. All this battling and aggression between Steneker, Oshlem, and Wallach is going to cost them potentially in the long run here.
Yeah, well, they're battling hard. They are getting heat in those tires, maybe a little bit more than they would like to. Meanwhile, JJ Wang out front, able to manage a little bit better with really no pressure from behind.
Indica Scarlet in P6, about a second and a half behind this main group here from second to fifth. Has a slowdown. It's been served. Ella Spice, the quietest one in this front pack here. As second, third, and fourth are nose to tail here into the tri-oval. And they're three wide. Steneker going the wrong direction. Oshlem is clear. Wallach is not.
Oh!
And there goes Steneker right back through, as expected.
Wow. Good stuff from those three. Pretty good battle between Tyler Vickery, Georgie Trepsick, and I think it may have been Johansson or Cattermole. I don't remember which, but there was a good battle between them as well. And Trepsick ends up getting the best of it for right now, sits in 10th. Vickery and Cattermole in 11th and 12th trying to get up into the top 10.
Bit of a runaway for JJ Wang last week, but we've seen runaways get away from drivers before. But it's early in the going, shaping up to be more of the same. It's a 1.6 second lead for Wang right now over his teammate Steneker. His main adversary of the season thus far, Jonathan Oshlem, Tom Wallach, and Ellis Spice.
Jackson Counts just made a pass on Rob Yost to get to 14th and has Robert Mitchell next up in line as well. But it's hard to take our eyes off this battle here for second with Steneker, Oshlem, and Wallach. They have been the talk of the town here so far.
From the exit of the bus stop until you get to the slowdown in turn 1, that is really the hot spot of this track. It's a hive of activity here. And we're about to see it yet again. Big run there for Oshlem. He pulls up. Now it's a huge pocket of air for Wallach to pull into. He's going to give a shot. Oh, they touch! That sends Steneker barreling into pit road. He'll have a black flag and no fault of his own there. Oh, and more contact!
More contact!
Wallach,
oh my.
One-man wrecking crew here. Ellis Spice going to move into second. Oshlem will get it back going. Henke on Steneker's race is effectively over here from second.
Moore still trying to make their way through. Marlon Orlando trying to make his way through traffic. Getting a little bogged down there behind Casey Knight, who got through. Indica Scarlet up here into the top 5 as well. That was a massive incident. The only one that really survives is Oshlem.
Well, Ellis Spice is the beneficiary of that as well. Was giving plenty of space to those three. It did kind of seem like a ticking time bomb, and it finally went off, and Spice was able to capitalize. And all that, they were just inside of 2 seconds behind the race leader. Now they're 5.5. I mean, the lead has exploded.
Yeah, that has done two things. It has made J.J. Wang take an even more increasing lead, but it has also brought basically the rest of the entire top 10 all within at least a second of each other, if not closer. So when we get to the oval part of the racetrack, they're going to be able to catch up to each other quite quickly. Here goes Steneker looking to make a move on Orlando to the inside of the bus stop and completes it.
And this is all just lame duck passes here for Henk-Jan Steneker. He has a black flag after the spin. He just clipped the exit of pit road there. Not under his own control, but of course there's no live race control to make that call. So Henk-Jan Steneker will have to come and serve a penalty or be disqualified here in just a couple of laps. I don't know, does Hank have a sign on the back of his truck that says kick me or what? He is just getting bump drafted left and right here from everybody that's around him.
There is some writing on the spoiler, but I'm sure that's not what it says.
Casey Knight working on Indica Scarlet here. That's now the battle for fourth. I should point out as well, it will be some time before it develops, but Ella Spice is tracking down the race leader. It's back to 5 seconds now, so there is some kind of correction here.
Yeah, under a lot of heat right now from Oshalem, though. Through that first corner, Oshalem had pulled right up to the back of Spice, nearly gave him a bump.
Tyler Lugo Vickery was in the top 10, and he went through the grass through the International Horseshoe. He's lost several positions here trying to get it back going.
By the way, thank you to Laura Hill for being in the chat before the race started as well. Laura currently sitting in 16th.
Yeah, another big brain play for sure from Ella Spice. Looking pretty good to notch another podium here. He is just podiuming the PMR to death of late. We're here for it.
And unfortunately, we're missing Goodleaf here right now as Indica Scarlet currently sits in fourth in a top 5 position. So a good run from Indica here.
I think Goodleaf saw that wreck and scrambled to get to the Bellagio as soon as possible to place the big bet. It may be too late, though. Here comes Oshalem with a move here on Ellis Spice for second. And Ellis, I don't think, going to push the issue too much. Again, these two are making time on JJ. They're doing something right.
Yeah, we always talk about JJ is very smart. Is he just managing the heat and the tires very cautiously, or is he actually losing time to those two? We're never quite sure, are we? And as I mentioned, Indica in fourth. Casey Knight has started applying pressure to take that fourth position.
Don't think we saw Casey last week in the Sunday top split, but got a podium in the Thursday top split. In the race I participated in at Alton Park. Casey's been running pretty good at multiple points this season. Really starting to get it nailed down here. Running for a spot in the top 5. Marlon Orlando, one of the throwback drivers here in today's race, is inside the top 5 here as well, or gunning to be anyway. Henk-Jan Steneker in the race chat just put a winking frowny face. That just doesn't look great.
Yeah, it doesn't feel great either.
No.
Georgie Trepsick through the bus stop has gotten right to the tail of Adrian Johansson. This would be for 7th. And Indica Scarlet, Casey Knight to the outside of Scarlet as well. A couple of battles here on the oval.
Gap up front continuing to close marginally here. Still over 4 seconds as Indica Scarlet can hang on to the spot for now. Casey Knight, though, with a crossover. Knight's going to take it.
Scarlet a little bit wide there through that first corner. And Georgie Trepsick was able to make the pass on Johansson down towards the start-finish line. So Trepsick is to 7th.
I know we got a lot of good battling here in the top 5, but if we get a second, I'd like to take a look at that crash that happened with Henk-Jan Steneker, Jonathan Oshlim, and Tom Walich there. That was a race-defining moment.
Certainly was. Also looking at a good battle here between Laura Hill and Rebecca Davin. They've swapped positions a couple of times here.
Davin in the top 10 in series points as well.
Hill seems to be quicker, but has made a couple of mistakes. So trying to kind of work her way back through the field now. And let's go ahead and see if we can take a look at this. That is Walich with the contact to the back of Oshlim. And when he gave that bump, it wasn't anything too serious, but when he gave the bump, it broke him loose and caused him to go down and make some contact with Steneker on the bottom of the racetrack. You see Steneker, like Tommy said, gets moved down into the pit area that gave him the black flag. Maybe a little bit of netcode involved there too, kind of hard to tell. But then as we come down into turn 1, Oshlim kind of goes wide. Walich tries to go up the inside, but Walich a little bit higher up on the racetrack than I think Oshlim expected. Those two make contact. Steneker piles in, and there goes Ella Spice. A good move to get on around the outside. Had to make a very split-second decision there. Able to get through, and now currently sits in a podium position.
Gap is now under 4 seconds from Oshlim up to JJ Wang. Ella Spice fading away, so this is a one-man effort for Oshlim to try and get up to the race leader. We had a problem with Tyler Lugo Vickery. He had a solo spin into the bus stop and has decided to call it a day. And things are tightening up here just inside and outside of the top 5. Casey Knight, Indica Scarlets, Marlon Orlando. He was really chomping at the bit there to make a move on Indica, but has faded away since.
Laura Hill, we mentioned, trying to work her way through the field after a couple of incidents. Just got around Jackson Couts for 12th as well, so steadily making up some ground here. Can probably make one more pass there on Sean Bagley, but then has 14 seconds to Cattermole in 10th. I don't think we'll be able to get to Cattermole without incident.
A reminder here at the top of the hour, we'll probably go to about the 45-minute mark in this hour before we're off air, doing interviews and whatnot, but at the top of the hour, we'll be here with the Mission O from the Daytona Oval. Adrian Johansson inside the top 10 has just picked up a meatball flag. I think exiting the bus stop, that car did not turn left, but instead turned right into the outside wall, and that'll do it.
Yeah, that's certainly not the way you want to go.
No.
Go ahead and see if we can take a quick look before everybody gets back out onto the oval. This is Johansson, the rear car in the shot, that red and black one. Oh, and yeah, just is loose after that first right-hand corner through the bus stop and never gets it corrected, really. Tries to make his way. You slow it down, you could see him get loose there. Do that first right-hander, then has to make another right, then left, but it's already loose and just cannot get it corrected. Tries to get on the brakes, but really hits that outside wall pretty hard.
El Spice pushing hard, picked up a slowdown, but it's been served. So did Georgie Trepsick. Unica Scarlet here about to be under fire from Marlon Orlando. And that'll be for a spot in the top 5 if Orlando's able to pull it off. He's been trying to make this move now for a couple laps. Big surge here to the outside. Scarlett crowding there.
looked like maybe a little bit of contact between the two. Scarlett's still able to hang on, has been fighting tooth and nail for these couple of spots. And hasn't lost Casey Knight in front either, so still could get back to 4th place here. Knight has not been able to gap Scarlett or Marlon Orlando.
Wang is about half a second slower than Oshalim thus far in this lap, just looking at sector times. So Oshalim is making up big gains here. This one's not over yet. Should have about 2 laps to go when we come back to the line. Still 3 seconds to overcome, but the draft will come into play if Oshalim keeps on the pace that he has now. So watch that out of the corner of our eyes, and then continue watching Knight, Scarlett, and Orlando here.
Orlando is closed right in. Wow, thought was going to try to make a move to the outside, but now pushing Scarlett. We've seen how dangerous this can be.
Oshalim made up a second that lap. And I think we're going to hit the line with about 4 seconds left to go.
Oh, wow. Orlando able to get around the outside of Scarlett. Both of them made a ton of ground on Casey Knight, pushing each other.
Oh, Orlando's... They both sent it deep. It worked out better for Scarlett, who's using up Marlon there. A lot of contact.
It's a really interesting dynamic. It's almost like Orlando trying to use Scarlett to get to Casey Knight, but also make the pass at the same time. It's a very interesting dynamic once you get through the bus stop here. Johansson and Laura Hill battling here for 11th. Hill going to get the best of it for right now.
JJ Wang has quickened his pace on this lap. He sees Oshalim getting closer and closer and wants to put a stop to it as soon as possible.
Whoa, wow.
Whoa.
That was I'm not sure who that was. I think it was a lap car that kind of got in the middle of this battle. And it allows Casey Knight to get way out in front of Orlando.
JJ Wang across the line. About 6 seconds left, so this will be the white flag. The charge is stalled for Oshalim. 2.5 seconds. We've seen crazier things. Oh, spin. Orlando's around. Oh, and Georgie Trepsick. Yeah, locked it up, trying to avoid.
Good thing for Trepsick. Tom Wallach is still 11 seconds behind.
Wang and Oshalim are on the same straight here in the infield. It's 2 seconds. May just be a lap or so short. Without a mistake from Wang. Final time through the bus stop here. And I think we're in the clear. Well, it'll be the third win of the season here for the two-time and defending series champion. A wire-to-wire win for Wang here at Daytona in the Michelin Art Challenge. JJ Wang takes it here at the World Center of Racing. Oshalem in second. And Ella Spice, a very smart and savvy third place here today. Great recovery for Oshalem after what we saw earlier. Casey Knight, Indica Scarlet, the top 5. Marlon Orlando going to rally for a P6 after the spin there on the final lap. Same for Georgie Trepsick. He'll finish in 7th. Wow.
It was another wire-to-wire for JJ on a Sunday. This time had a little bit of help, though.
Yeah, great early pace. It would have been interesting to see if Oshalem had somehow dodged that incident, how this race would have gone down. I think JJ started doing donuts before the the incident timer stopped.
Oh,
so
no.
he ends up with a 4X. Unfortunate.
I don't think he'll mind after taking the win.
Yeah, maybe not. Third win in 4 Sundays here for JJ. Already off to an electric start. Pun intended.
Yep. We had Olivia earlier in the chat said she needed to take a week to recharge.
Yeah. Well, enjoy the recharge. But
maybe she'll come back faster than ever.
Maybe. That'll have to be awfully, awfully fast. Through the grass.
Here it is.
The Heath Smith is what they're calling that one. If you know, you know.
That is grace and style right there.
And what is JJ Wang, if not the personification of grace and style, and a winner once again here in the Michelin Art Challenge? He takes the win. Jonathan Oshalem in second. Ellis Spice in third. Hopefully we'll talk to all 3 momentarily. Not a guarantee, though. Casey Knight in fourth. Indica Scarlet in fifth. Marlon Orlando, Georgie Trepsick, Tom Wallach, Alexander Cattermole, and Sean Begley, the top 10. Laura Hill in 11th. Adrian Johansson in 12th. Rebecca David in 13th. Jackson Couts in 14th. Andreas Weiss in 15th. Hank Jan Stendiger, P16. Robert Mitchell in 17th. Rebecca Late in 18th. And then DNFs for Tyler Lugo, Vickery, and Rob Yost Jr., 19th and 20th. While we wait to see if somebody's going to pile into the waiting room here, Matt, so your thoughts on today's race?
I mean, I remember that this one was a good one, but this one delivered big time again. I mean, it seems like every time we go to one of these Robles, it is just utter chaos, and but not just chaos. It's great racing to boot. Some shenanigans just happen as a result to everybody being so close together. But just incredible stuff here. Really good battles really throughout the field. We saw some good ones for around 10th place, even some good ones for 13th, 14th, right around there as well. So good stuff from everybody here tonight, and they even gave us a little taste of what's to come at the top of the hour. We saw some bump drafting here on the road course, and we're about to see a whole hell of a lot more for the Mission O Challenge.
Absolutely, yes indeed. So stick around for that, and also stick around so we can talk to your second place finisher. Hopefully not catch him mid-sentence here. Jonathan Oshalem going to finish runner-up here today, and fantastic effort to track down JJ Wang there in a big way in the final couple of laps. Needed just, I don't know, I bet you're lobbying for a 22-minute official race for next season is my guess after this.
Yeah, we just kind of ran out of time there. But, yeah, no, it was good comeback after everything that happened, so I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, obviously not a lot you could do to avoid that melee there in turn number one. It all just sort of stacked up in front of you. But how do you get your head back on straight and push ahead?
Just had to first cool down the tires too because they were on fire basically after sliding through there. But yeah, I mean, just head down and keep going, see if you can catch them. But I figured we'd run out of time. JJ's just fast.
Matt, what do you got?
Yeah, congrats on the P2 here, and yeah, I mean that battle was pretty heated. I mean, when you're in the midst of a battle between three of you, are you a little bit worried that some contact might occur, trying to maybe run away with it before it happens, or did you expect it to kind of go clean there?
Yeah, it it didn't help that I went wide as well, but when you're going three wide in the corner, things are gonna happen, and then the bump draft just didn't work out, I think. But I think it was Tom. I think he was doing the right thing and trying to push me, but we didn't hook up, and it turned him sideways. So it happens, but yeah.
Well, more and more familiar getting time here on the podiums at the end of these races on Sunday afternoons. Excited to see it. It was a great drive to catch JJ Wang there at the end of the race. And I'm pretty good, all things considered, given the circumstances. So we'll leave you to it here for anybody you want to shout out or say hi to.
Just my teammates at JO Motorsports and the team at McConey Setup Shops. And thank you guys for broadcasting as well.
Absolutely. Jonathan Oshlim, congrats on the P2. We'll talk to you again here soon.
All right, thanks.
And now your race winner for the third time this season already, JJ Wang, back on the step. Welcome back to the top step of the podium here. Congrats on the win.
Yeah, thanks very much, fellas. It's a bit of a wild one, honestly. I saw a lot of stuff happen behind me, but pretty happy that it just gave me what I needed to kind of walk away. Oceanland kept me honest. Honestly, it wasn't that easy of a win. It was easy to hemorrhage time to Jonathan. So yeah, wasn't a complete Sunday drive for me.
I was going to say, it's got to be a little bit worrying, no matter how hard you're pushing there in the final laps, to see the gap continue to shrink and shrink and shrink. I mean, what's the balance of looking at the relatives and actually looking at what you're doing and making sure that you're doing it the best that you can?
Yeah, for the most part, I was kind of focused on saving the kind of middle of the race. I knew that I think he dropped back to about 5 to 6 seconds. That was going to be kind of insurmountable. But I think on one of my laps, I actually almost looped it. It's just very easy to do on the limit, and then that just scorched my tires. And then the last few laps was kind of an in between of me nursing it to make sure it don't scorch it more, and then pushing a little bit more. I think his final lap he clocked in faster, but I think it was about 1.9 coming to the line. I eked it to like 2.1. So it's Jonathan's always fast. It's the beginning of the laps. It seems that I'm much stronger in, and then in the later half, he kind of comes to me. So he did lose a bunch of time. Who knows what would have happened if that incident didn't happen? But I think my strategy once Oshalim is here is just to walk away as much as I can at the beginning laps.
Matt, what do you got?
Yeah, congrats on the race win again here, JJ. And when you see him kind of catching you, are you trying to keep your brain from kind of shifting into like a defensive type of mindset? Does it ever get there when he gets within a couple of seconds of you, or are you able to kind of keep it focused on just running the lap times?
I'm trying to just keep it focused. It doesn't quite matter exactly how much I win by, as long as I'm first. So it doesn't bother me that I'm dropping kind of a few tenths here and there, as long as just kind of based on what I see, it's, like I said, kind of insurmountable. There's still some places that I wasn't taking any big risk, especially after that near spin in West Horseshoe. That really scared me because it's just very easy just to lose it. And after the incident he had, it would be very dumb if I lost a win that way. But yeah, it's I'm inevitably with somebody as good as Jonathan. Makoni setup shop guy. He's in your mirrors. You inevitably start to get a little bit more defensive, but I'm trying to kind of keep my eyes forward and not sweat too much if there's a few tenths. I just need to beat him at the line. I don't need to beat him by 5 seconds.
Well, Matt and I both loved your post-race celebration there, the trip through the infield grass. Critics were calling it graceful and stylish. So, yes, it was another successful post-race celebration for you on yet another win here on the top step of the podium and on top of the points as well. So, congrats to you. Shout-outs for you.
Yeah, thanks so much. After missing the jump at Olton, I thought I'd probably do something better. But glad that it worked out. Yeah, I big shout out to Team Watson Racing Setups. I don't know if you folks checked the stats, but quite literally every single session I've gone faster. I did two splits earlier. Found half a tenth. Found half a second. Another split. 3 tenths, and then today, my best lap was about a tenth faster than that Thursday split. So that's all thanks to Jeff Mathis. He worked really hard with me to kind of find kind of the limit, getting comfortable with kind of this car's rotation, which has a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde kind of characteristics to it. Big shout out to Team Watson Racing in general, Sean Begley, Casey Knight. I think Sean had a pretty bad race, but condolences to him, but I thought Casey had a good race. Condolences to Henke, I saw that he got collected in the first one. He was really strong. I think he's finally finding his feet in the car. So yeah, and big shout out to both of you coming out to do this. Looking forward to the Mission O, and big shout out to everybody in the community. It's been a blast, honestly, running this league.
Yeah, Mission O should be a gas here in just about 15 minutes. So we'll look forward to seeing you there. You're the defending winner in Mission O as well. So we'll look for another repeat. But in the meantime, go celebrate. We'll hopefully talk to you in a bit.
Yeah, thanks so much. Thanks so much, fellas.
Alrighty. Well, yeah, we got Mission O coming up here, but so I won't wrap things up too in depth. But to the folks that are still hanging around here, Matt, who was hanging out with us.
Yeah, thanks to everybody for chatting with us here on the Top Split Strength of Field broadcast. Darth Wither Vanity Fair pointing out that PMR is kind of like our government. Lizards are the ones in charge, of course, referring to JJ Wing. So, I thought that was pretty funny. Of course, Olivia Hayward and Laura Hill were here as well. So thank you, everybody, for watching. And don't go anywhere. We will be back here very, very shortly for the Oval here at Daytona. But the same car, the all-electric Porsche Mission R, is going to the O. So you're not going to want to miss that one, I can assure you.
I thought we saved that kind of talk for the Thunderdome. That's usually where the conspiracies reign supreme and birds being real and whatnot. But yes, indeed, we'll cut loose here and be back in just about 15 to 20 minutes or so after practice is concluded for Mission O from the Daytona Oval. But for everybody here with the Mission R community, for the GOAT, the one and only Mr. Matt Williamson, I'm Tommy Cook. We'll see you again here shortly. But congrats to JJ Wang on his win here for the Sunday Time Split Strength of Field broadcast, the Mission R Challenge at Daytona. This has been a live broadcast on Turn 200. Be sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of when we go live next. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.